What about now? It says that there's sound. Okay, there we go. Wonderful. Excellent. Okay, so I was skimming through the news before, and I saw two press conferences regarding the mRNA vaccine factory, and they're pretty long. They're like 30 minutes each. Okay, sorry, feedback. There we go. All right, now we're good. My bad. Yeah, I've got my phone here just so I can make sure that everything's all good. Okay, I think that should be sweet now. All right, technical difficulties for the first time, but now we're good. All right, so quick summary of what's happening with this mRNA vaccine factory, because I've been following it for a while, and then all of a sudden it just opened up today. So let me just share this first. So I've been posting about this for a while, and I brought up 3 posts that I put up from 2022 just to give some context about what was going on. So I'm gonna play this one first. So this is this was in between so this was in August, but the period that I'm trying to document now is when Scott Morrison was just about to get knocked off by Albo, and then what's happened just today. So at the start, Scott Morrison had penned a deal initially with Moderna for the 100 million vaccines per year. And then I'll show you the next video with regards to the build, the deal, and then we'll go through the press conferences from today. Just make sure this is sharing.
Good morning. The Prime Minister has confirmed.
Hopefully this shares.
Good morning. The Prime Minister has confirmed a multi-billion-dollar deal with Moderna has been signed to make mRNA vaccines in Australia for the first time.
Well, Charles, if all goes according to plan, construction should be underway by the end of this year. And from 2024, the facility will produce around 100 million doses a year. The decision to make these jabs in Australia stemmed from the major shortages that we faced when the COVID vaccine program first started. The government was accused of bungling the rollout because it got off to a slow start, partially due to international supply issues. But today's deal isn't just about COVID vaccines. It's worth about $2 billion, but the details are confidential. This is a bit of what Scott Morrison had to say about it.
Today, we have inked that deal. This means an Australian shot in the arm for our pandemic preparedness, for Australia's health, but also for the future of Australian manufacturing in the medical sphere.
Yes, today it's COVID, but tomorrow it'll be influenza, respiratory syncytial virus, and other respiratory viruses into the future.
Okay, so that was the initial deal with Scott Morrison and Moderna. This happened just before he had got knocked off in the election. After that, there is a video that I've also reshared from January of last year, where the Moderna CEO had mentioned that his goal is to build one of these factories in every continent. And we just so happen to be the first one in the Southern Hemisphere. So I'll just share this and then we'll get to the good stuff, because I actually haven't watched much of the first one from today. But there are some interesting points that I think might rattle some people's memories. It definitely brought back memories for me.
This car park at Monash University played host to a COVID testing site for almost 2 years, but by the end of this year, it will be ripped up and turned into a vaccine facility. After 9 months of intense negotiations since an in-principle agreement, the Commonwealth, Victoria and Moderna have put pen to paper on a deal.
This new facility, and we will use the standard unit of measurement in Melbourne, 1.5 mcgs big. 1,000 jobs, 500 in construction alone, the only facility of its kind in the Southern Hemisphere. Nothing like this outside North America.
This is a show of faith in Australia, in our nation, for Moderna to locate themselves here. You have lots of options, but you've chosen here in Australia.
We're going to break ground by the end of this year, so in a couple of months. And the plan is that the facility will become operational by the end of 2024. Minimum 100 million doses per annum. If the need arises, the facility will be able to produce that many doses.
And so we're very excited now that we are building a factory in Canada. We already broke ground in the fall. We're building a factory in Australia. We are going to start a factory this quarter in the UK, and we're also going to start building a factory in Kenya. We're talking to a couple more countries because I would really like on every continent to have mRNA capacity.
Yeah, so the CEO of Moderna has started to already achieve his goal of building a Moderna factory in every continent of the world. And unless anything has changed, Emma Harrington. So I put this post up earlier this year. Emma Harrington is the inaugural manufacturing site head for the vaccine site in Melbourne. So this lady here, they always look the same. They always got that glassy look in their eyes. But she is the boss for the factory. And now I want to go straight into the presser from today, because once you see Mark Butler, there's already a bunch of things that he says that are very interesting. He actually pays homage to someone that a lot of people had become very upset about during the early COVID era. So while that's playing, this is the Moderna CEO. While that's playing, I want to see if you guys know who I'm talking about. But yeah, Mark Butler is the one that mentions this person's name.
And cutting edge technology. It's a symbol of what collaboration, innovation, and a shared vision can achieve. It stands as the first commercial scale end-to-end mRNA manufacturing facility in the Southern Hemisphere, positioning Australia as a global leader in biotechnology and health security. A facility built by Australians for Australians. Today would not have been possible without the invaluable partnerships and bipartisan support that has brought it to life. To the Commonwealth and Victorian governments, represented by Minister Butler and Premier Allen, thank you for your foresight and commitment to strengthening Australia's health security and resilience. We are also grateful to the significant support and engagement from the many individuals at mRNA Victoria, the Commonwealth Department of Health and Ageing, and Department of Industry, Science and Resources, who have all played a key part in implementing this long-term strategic partnership. I also extend my gratitude to Monash University. Together, we are creating a world-class ecosystem for research, development, and workforce training, an ecosystem that will attract the brightest minds and enable breakthrough discoveries. To the team at Multiplex and the multiple local subcontractors, suppliers, and over 500 construction workers, thank you. Your work showcases the strength and skill of Australian industry. And of course, My heartfelt thanks to my incredible colleagues at Moderna. Your expertise and passion are the heartbeat of this endeavour. You have truly exemplified the Moderna mindsets, pushing past possible, acting with dynamic range, and pivoting fearlessly. We are so proud of you. The promise of mRNA science is extraordinary. It is not just about pandemic preparedness. It's about unlocking new possibilities in medicine. This technology has already transformed the fight against COVID-19, and its potential extends to a range of diseases, from influenza, RSV, and in the future, cancer. With this facility and Moderna's commitment to investing in Australia, our nation is well placed to lead the way in producing solutions that can improve health outcomes, not just here, but around the world. Thank you to everyone. There are many familiar faces who've been on this journey with us. Thank you. Together, we are shaping a future defined by innovation, resilience, and the power of science. A future that will have a positive impact on the health of Australians for many years to come. Thank you.
Okay, so this guy here is just the master of ceremonies, if you want to call it that. Now it's Mark Butler. So get your attention going, because as soon as the name drops, I want you guys to write it in the comments, because when I heard his name, I was like, oh shit, here we go. It's interesting how he paid homage to such a sinister man. You ready?
Well, thank you all to Carol, and thank you for such a beautifully warm welcome to country. And I acknowledge the traditional owners of these lands that quite rarely are sun-drenched today. To the Governor, to the Premier of Victoria, it's so exciting to be here. Can I tell you, as a South Australian from Port Adelaide, it's always a much more pleasant experience to visit after the end of September. Australia from Port Adelaide, it's always a much more pleasant experience.
Someone's got it.
After the end of September.
Someone's got it. Someone's got it. Yeah, someone's got it. Someone's got it. Okay.
To my colleagues, Jess Walsh and Karina Garland, the local member here, to Victorian colleagues, to the Monash family, to the Moderna family, this is really quite an exciting opportunity here. And I know for Michael and the team, this seems like a long time coming, but 2 years really since we did the sod turning is quite an extraordinary achievement to have this facility, this extraordinary facility, pretty much up and running. So congratulations to you. Today's opening represents a giant leap forward, not just for Victoria, but for the whole country. The opening of this facility makes Australia one of the very, very few countries in the world, and the only one in the Southern Hemisphere, with the capability of end-to-end manufacturing of mRNA therapies. And this facility is the product of a really important, vibrant three-way partnership between Moderna, the Commonwealth and the Victorian Government. The 10-year partnership signals Moderna's long-term commitment to advancing our vaccine manufacturing capability and supporting Australia to develop and to produce the next generation of medical technology. And I must acknowledge the efforts of the former Australian government and my predecessor, Minister Greg Hunt, for their work to negotiate this deal and to form the partnership that has really made this groundbreaking facility a reality. As the independent COVID inquiry report that was released some weeks ago told us, when the COVID-19 pandemic struck, the leaders of the day simply didn't have the tools in the toolkit. COVID-19 pandemic struck.
So for those that said Greg Hunt, you got it right. He paid homage to, far out, the feedback's coming from here. He paid homage to Greg Hunt. And if anyone, sorry about that, if anyone doesn't remember, This is my favorite Greg Hunt moment. I just pulled this up before. So Malcolm Roberts actually put this up 18th of November 2020. I don't know if anyone remembers this. But this photo became infamous almost instantly because as soon as he uploaded this photo, people with greater eyes than even myself identified that he had a COVID-19 Great Reset book on his shelf. So he pays homage to the former government for penning the deal initially, and then goes on to, I think, talk about the details. So the next part is interesting because he talks about the details of the actual deal, and he also starts to talk about the fact that the new CDC is going to be like the centralized place where people are going to be able to get there. It's going to be like this key source of information with regards to pandemics, future pandemics in Australia. We're not going to have to rely on international supply for vaccines anymore. We've got a factory based in Melbourne that's going to be able to spit out over 100 million vaccines. So yeah, this part is when it starts to get a bit interesting. And then after that spiel, I haven't watched the rest, so we're all going to find out all together to see what happens. But this part's interesting because the language that he uses is just it's the type of stuff that pisses me off whenever I see clips from this or clips like this. But yeah, I'll give it a go now.
That they needed. They were building the plane effectively as they were flying it. We didn't have a comprehensive pandemic plan. We didn't have a Centre for Disease Control, the only OECD country that didn't have it. And we didn't have the sovereign capability to manufacture the critical components of a successful pandemic response, including the latest vaccines. So last month, the Albanese government announced that we would commit $251 million to establish the Australian Centre for Disease Control to become that single national authoritative source of expert advice. The CDC is going to be a critical tool in the toolkit for Australia's leaders long into the future. And with the opening of today's Moderna facility here in Melbourne, we secure yet another tool in that toolkit for the next pandemic because unfortunately we do know there will be a next pandemic. This facility has the capacity to produce up to 100 million doses of locally made vaccine in a pandemic response scenario. It's a really major step forward to helping Australians be protected against future pandemics while supporting local industry. The Australian government will have the choice also to access respiratory vaccines from the facility, as well as providing assurance to maintain the facility's pandemic preparedness. With this facility, Australia will be less dependent on imported mRNA vaccines during a pandemic. We'll be less vulnerable to the supply disruptions or delays caused by global events, a resurgence of COVID-19 infections, or indeed a new, different pandemic. But the benefits of this facility will extend well beyond pandemic preparedness. The partnership is also going to support Monash University's collaborations with Australia's world-class research organisations like the Doherty and the Burnett here in Victoria.
Am I muted again? Am I muted? What about now? I think it's okay now. There's going to be a whole bunch of technical glitches. I'll get this right eventually. I'll run a test tomorrow. But I just wanted to smash this out tonight. So there a lot of the articles about this factory were talking about vaccine hesitancy here. Like Australian wrote an article 20 hours ago. Vaccine doubt still lingers as plant opens. Australia finally has sovereign manufacturing of mRNA vaccines, as new analysis reveals 6 in 10 of all parents are feeling distressed since the pandemic over their children. So a lot of the publicity surrounding this factory is reflecting in people's hesitancy to even opt in. It's like, how can you be bothered to introduce vaccines into people's thoughts right now when trust in government is at an all-time low and nobody wants this shit anymore? But yeah, let's continue with Mark Butler. I'm pretty sure Jacinta Allen comes up as well. And if she doesn't come up, I know that she features in a separate press conference because that's here. And she talks probably for 30 minutes as well. So let's try to get the full context of what's going on, at least from what they share, and then we'll try to dissect it.
and workforce development long into the future here in Victoria, as well as the University of Queensland. It means the creation of highly skilled local jobs, data partnerships, joint ventures, clinical trials, and workforce development long into the future. mRNA technologies have the potential to transform many areas of medicine, from respiratory infections like we've heard in influenza, RSV and others, as well as cancers that were previously thought to be simply untreatable. Around the world, billions of dollars in research funding are pouring into mRNA technologies, including into Australia's world-class health and medical research sector, especially obviously here in Victoria. The race is on to discover the full potential of this technology, and this Moderna facility will become a major cornerstone in Australia's capability to explore and exploit those mRNA technologies. I want to commend and congratulate everyone who has been involved in this extraordinary venture. I particularly want to thank Michael for you and your team's openness and constructive dialogue with us in the Commonwealth, particularly since we were elected to government in 2022 and took responsibility for that part of the partnership. It's been a real pleasure to work with you, and I congratulate you on this wonderful event. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister Butler. And now I would like to invite to the stage to speak the Premier of Victoria, the Honourable Jacinta Allen. Thank you.
Isn't it interesting that they have like probably about, I don't know, 50, 60 people there all celebrating this? Look at that shot. There we go. mRNA excellence made in Australia for Australians. So that looks like that's their slogan. mRNA excellence made for Australia made in Australia for Australians. They really are rolling out the red carpet for this. Yeah, you're right, Benji. These are definitely people that are either invested, lobbyists, some shareholders. I mean, they really rolled out. They put out some dollars even just for this press conference. They've got the pull-up banner, and they've got these official government banners as well with the mRNA Victoria logo on it and the state of Victoria logo on it. So they've definitely invested in making sure that this is a high-profile event that almost no one knew about. I knew that they were opening this factory. I mean, I've been talking about this and documenting this journey for over 2 years. But it's just interesting to see that they actually decided to roll out the red carpet and host a full function for it. And then, a 30-minute press conference followed by, I think, another 30-minute press conference. Yeah, they definitely they didn't hold anything back. But let's see what Jacinta Allen has to say. This should be interesting.
Thank you very much for that welcome and introduction. And to Carolyn, I'm not sure where you are in the room today. There you are, Carolyn, behind the TV screen. Hello. Thank you so much for your welcome to this beautiful country on behalf of the Boonwurrung people. And can I also pay my respects to your elders past and present, and any who may be with us in the room here today. And we are marking a big milestone here on this beautiful country. There have been a number of acknowledgements, but I would also like to acknowledge the Governor of Victoria, the Honourable Professor Margaret Gardner. Margaret, almost feels like you're wearing two hats here today, of course, given your deep association with Monash University and you being part of this journey. So it's wonderful to acknowledge you here today. And of course, the other representatives of Monash University, Dr. Megan Clark, Chancellor, and Vice-Chancellor Sharon Pickering, who are continuing on this journey. It's wonderful to see you here today as well. Federal Health Minister Mark Butler has made a number of acknowledgements of our parliamentary colleagues. It's wonderful to have you here in Victoria, Mark, even though you are a Port Adelaide supporter and you do need to find a better football team. To our parliamentary colleagues, I have my ministerial colleagues here, Danny Pearson and Steve Demopoulos, to the federal representatives who are here today in Jess Walsh and Karina Garland. Can I also acknowledge my friend and former ministerial colleague, Jala Pulford, who's here as well today, who works deeply with many in the room. And before I also commence my formal remarks, can I just pause and acknowledge the huge army of people, and many of you are here today, who work, whether you might work for Moderna, whether you might work for Michael, for you and your team here at Moderna, you might work here for the Victorian government, you might work for the federal government or at Monash University. But to the army of people who have brought us here today, thank you. Particularly to the public servants who, in your duty as a public servant, have driven this great collaboration, this great partnership that we are marking the milestone of today. So thank you. And if I can be a little bit parochial, a particular thanks to the Victorian representatives who are here today. And Tim Pallas, I know would have loved to have been here today. He's unable to make it here. He sends his apologies. I do want to acknowledge Tim's role in part of bringing us here today. Now, words like world leading and groundbreaking, they do get thrown around a lot. But when you are talking about a place where mRNA research, development and manufacturing all come together under the same roof, and it's a stunning roof too, a beautiful building as well. It's the first facility of its kind in the Southern Hemisphere. These are lofty words that absolutely fit what is going on right here on this site. Therapies that will be imagined at one end of the building, bottled in another, and then sent out across the nation to support Australian families, to protect Australian families from illness and disease, all from this location. And as we know, this is a facility that is going to be capable of producing up to 100 million vaccine doses a year for a whole range of illnesses, respiratory illnesses like the flu, like COVID and RSV. And that last illness,
I remember at the start, some people, when I put posts up, couldn't believe the fact that it was 100 million. That was the actual number. And I'm still baffled that that is still the true number. But I'm wondering how many people are actually going to take this up. Like, say for argument's sake, they pump out 50 million in the next 12 months. And they don't do any redistribution to any international partners. It's only for Australian people. How many of, say, a conservative 50 million, so cut it in half, do you think, how many people are actually going to take it up? And mind you, we have a population of 27 million, so it's going to be about 1 to 2, maybe 3 if you're cheeky, to take a triple booster. Because, yeah, this number is just outrageous. I really want to know how this actually plays out. But yeah, they're sticking staunch to that number. And also one other thing, I read before. So it was initially reported that this Moderna factory was a $1 billion 10-year partnership between the Commonwealth, the state government, and Moderna. But apparently, and we might be able to find out through the press conference whether this actually might be even more. So I saw this article in Yahoo, and it says here, the deal between Moderna and the state and federal governments was inked while ex-Liberal Prime Minister Scott Morrison was in power, and the agreement is reportedly worth $2 billion. However, Ms. Allen decided to give details on Wednesday, citing commercial declined, to give details on Wednesday, citing commercial and confidence reasons. So the number might actually be more than was initially reported. It's seemingly doubled since Scott Morrison had initially penned the deal in 2022. So we'll find out which journo. It's probably going to be a journo that asks her what are the details with regards to the agreement, and I want to see what she says with regards to not wanting to explain it because of commercial and confidence reasons. Let's see what she says.
It's not one that's well known, but I promise you that those three letters strike fear in the hearts of every parent. RSV can cause severe respiratory infections in little babies and small children, making them so terribly unwell. It's something I come with great personal experience. I've lived through this myself as one of my own children was so sick with RSV, they had to be airlifted from Bendigo Hospital down here to the Royal Children's. And it's an experience I don't want any parent to have to repeat. And thanks to the mRNA vaccines manufactured here at Moderna in Melbourne, families across our state are going to have access to the best possible protection into the future. It's why I'm so proud, amongst so many reasons, that Victoria is home to this incredible facility, and proud that our state is a global leader in medical research and advanced manufacturing. This Monash Technology Precinct is absolutely the perfect fit for Moderna. Already being home to the CSIRO, the Australian Synchrotron, the Victorian Heart Hospital and the Melbourne Centre for Nanofabrication, we are marking today a new chapter in this global technology precinct. The Research, University Health, Biomed Precinct, and I can't help but reflect for a moment how on 25 years ago, the then Victorian Labor government, driven by a vision from John Brumby and Steve Bracks, a vision and a determination to place Melbourne and Victoria at the centre of global biotech centres, alongside Boston, alongside London. And way back then, all those years ago, there was another partnership with Monash University in bringing the Australian Synchrotron here to this precinct. 25 years later, we are realising for the next generation the benefits of catalytic infrastructure that's rooted in deep partnerships that have made this happen. And I also can't help but reflect on how catalytic infrastructure will connect this facility and this precinct into the decades ahead, given of course this precinct will also be home to Monash Station on our future suburban rail loop, another partnership between the Victorian Labor government and the federal government, connecting Monash University to the public transport network for the very first time. And what does that mean? It makes it so much easier for the best and brightest of the future workers, the future professors, the future skilled Victorians who are going to pursue their careers and dreams here because they can catch the train here, make it easy for them and go on and undertake further international groundbreaking research on this wonderful precinct. It's all part of a big vision for our state, and we've seen what big ideas can lead to.
Who's excited? If you're from Melbourne, who's excited to tap on your my key and catch a train to this Moderna factory. What the fuck? I can't believe she actually fucking said that. Yeah, students and visitors can tap on their my key, catch a train, and come visit our beautiful Moderna factory that's going to spit out 100 million vials of vaccine. I don't have a my key, but I've still got my Brisbane, when I went to Brisbane, my Queensland card. Yeah. Everyone get your my keys ready. We're all going to visit Moderna. Wonder if they would let us go to Moderna.
Big ideas, going back to where I started, that are cemented in those partnerships, cemented in the skills and talents that Victorians have, skills and talents of Victorian institutions and its people. So backing mRNA is an investment in jobs, it's an investment in health, and it's an investment in innovation and ideas, but most of all, it's that investment in hope. mRNA vaccines and therapies are, as we know, are breaking new ground in medical treatment, and we are so thrilled, the Victorian Government, on behalf of the Victorian community, to partner with our federal colleagues, to partner with Moderna on this world-leading project, and to be here today as we celebrate this milestone and open Moderna's cutting-edge facility, which we know is going to turbocharge the growth in Australian sovereign mRNA manufacturing, supporting jobs, but also, most importantly, supporting the health and wellbeing of our community for decades to come. So congratulations to everyone who's been involved to bring us to today, and we look forward to seeing the many achievements that will come from here in the decades ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Premier Allen. So next up to speak, I'd like to invite to the stage the Vice-Chancellor of Monash University, Professor Sharon Pickering, to speak. Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Caroline, 2 days in a row being here. I too pay my respects to the people of the Kulin Nations, to your ancestors, and for the great privilege that we get to do what we do at Monash University on these unceded lands, and it is a privilege every day. And I acknowledge Indigenous colleagues and friends joining us here today for this momentous occasion. It is wonderful to welcome you to this new part of this Monash University campus. I give thanks for flat land. I, of course, would like to acknowledge Her Excellency, Professor the Honourable Margaret Gardner, who was part of the team and the foresight that made this absolutely possible, and we remain thankful for that. I'd like to also acknowledge the Premier, the Minister for Health, the Honourable Danny Pearson, to the Honourable Steve Dimopoulos, to Jess Walsh, to Karina Garland, indeed to Conrad Tribble, the United States Consul General here, particularly to Michael Azrak, and acknowledge how brilliant it has been to work with your team over these last years. To my own Chancellor, Dr. Megan Clark, and Deputy Chancellors joining us here today, but to all of you, guests one and all, and I call you all out there, and I don't acknowledge as a series of dignitaries, because each and every one of you contributes to the vitality of this place and the vitality of the importance of this university and the partnerships that form the Monash Technology Precinct, which just over 60 years ago was still this farm, this trotting track and this wire mill, or when I was a kid, a bunch of Kenworth truck yards up this road. And to think that you have built this incredible place here now at the absolute cutting edge of innovation, Michael, and that you've done that in deep partnership with all of us is absolutely remarkable. Because when the university was placed on this piece of land here, we were placed here with a very clear purpose as Victoria's newest university. And placed here with a very clear purpose.
I just saw a comment here. I can't listen to this shit. Time for a break. It is so nauseating. It is really nauseating. I don't even know if we should be bothered to go through all of this. I mean, what does this chancellor really have to say that's groundbreaking? Let's skip to the second one because I believe it appears that Jacinta Allen has done a separate press conference. So let's go to that one and we'll see what she has to say. Because yeah, that's nauseating. I can't. So Victorian Premier Jacinta Allen. So this is a press conference. It looks like it's after the event. And I'm going to assume that this is where that report about a possible agreement with Moderna being up to 2 billion was questioned. So let's see if that comes up, and we'll take little breaks here and there if she says anything crazy or not. Okay. All right, let's do it.
People very sick, from little babies through to older Victorians, can make people very, very sick. And finally, too, what we're marking here today is another milestone that continues to cement Melbourne alongside London and Boston as global biotech leaders. And this hasn't happened by accident. It's happened by an investment in partnerships. And I want to thank Moderna for their partnership with the Victorian government, with the federal government, and also with Monash University. We have great skills and talents in Victoria, in our people, in our world-leading institutes, and with the opening of the Moderna mRNA facility here, the only one of its type in the Southern Hemisphere, we are cementing that global reputation to come. And if Michael doesn't mind, if I just also make a mention of another world-leading mRNA manufacturer in BioNTech. When they're operational at La Trobe University, Melbourne and Victoria will be the only place in the world where the two global leaders in mRNA, R&D and manufacturing operate from the one city. We'll be the only city in the world. And that comes about as a result of having the people, the partnerships and the strong...
No, you guys are in Melbourne. You guys in Victoria are screwed. How are they? Yeah, check this out. She's like paying homage to BioNTech, and then I saw a comment. Someone said, "Here, where is it? Moderna Inc. mRNA is still dumping it. Was it 42.55 USD? Look at that chart. That's a day chart. Where was it? 116.66. So it's dropped like $1. Yeah, $1.61 here. What's like a year to date? Year to date, it's okay. I mean, it's green. 5 year. Look at that. Look at that. It was at 40. See, this is when people should have invested. Is it too late to invest into this factory or something? Look at that. It was about trading at about 30 to 40, and then COVID, and then boom. What did it peak at? 389.01. And then the conspiracy theorists started to win. And then what was the other one? Moderna. Because that's the important one to look at, because that's in Australia. Yeah, so the chart looks almost identical. About half the valuation though. So they go, people are dropping in Wuhan, lockdowns are starting to happen across the country. Big lockdowns in Victoria. Contracts start to get signed. Greg Hunt signs more contracts. Boom. $449.38. So you could have 10x'd your money from there to there, or where it is now. That's a tenfold. Yeah, that's Moderna Inc. It's interesting to see that, actually. But now that we're going to be spewing these out from Victoria, maybe we should throw some pennies at that stock. I don't know. I'm not into investing, but goddamn, 10x your money over a few years. All right, let's go back to Bendigo Barbie.
A strong economy that businesses want to invest right here in Victoria. So we could not be prouder today to mark the opening and the milestone of this project, but to mark what it means, the hope it provides for the future, the protection of our health and well-being of our community of the future. And Michael, thank you so very much for your hard work and drive to bring us to this point today. And thank you for you and your team for what they'll deliver for our community into the future.
So good morning, everybody. I'm incredibly proud today as we stand here in Melbourne in a facility built by Australians for Australians, the Moderna Technology Centre, Melbourne. It's the first commercial scale end-to-end mRNA manufacturing facility in the Southern Hemisphere, capable of producing up to 100 million doses during full-scale pandemic production. But this building, it's more than just glass, steel, and cutting-edge technology. It's hope, and it's going to become a critical
Okay, so it's 100 million doses for full-scale pandemic. So if there is another pandemic, the factory is capable of pumping out 100 million, which is insane. So I'm going to guess it's probably going to be pumping out, I don't know, maybe a couple of million here and there, conservative guess, I'm not sure, until they decide to pull the trigger on that big one. But interesting. It looks like this factory is preparing Australia to be just a distribution center for the rest of the world, in the Southern Hemisphere at least. I know, what did he say, the CEO of Canada, the CEO of Moderna? He said Canada and a couple of other countries he name-dropped, continents that he name-dropped. But now that we're the first, this will be interesting. They're going to be pumping them out. This is what it's all about, because Australia doesn't need 100 million, that's for damn sure. So they're probably thinking, all right, the next one that comes up, hey, instead of charging, I don't know, what, $5 a vial, we can charge $100 a vial, just like they did during 2020. This is all just an investment scheme for them. This is not really anything to do with by Australians for Australians, nothing to do with Australians. This is all just this is like another mint for them. It's just money printing.
Asset, a sovereign asset for Australia in the fight against any emerging health responses that may be needed into the future. I'm immensely proud of my Moderna team, who've worked tirelessly to deliver this facility on time, and it's now operational with the goal of providing respiratory vaccines in the upcoming winter season. mRNA science has proven itself during the COVID-19 pandemic, but the science is extraordinary, and it's a science of hope with many more uses into the future, from respiratory illnesses like influenza and RSV to cancer and rare diseases that cause debilitating diseases. So as I said, I'm incredibly proud of the Moderna team. I'm incredibly thankful for the partnership that we have with the Victorian Government, the Commonwealth Government and Monash University. There's no better place for our facility to have been placed than right here in Melbourne in the Monash Technology Precinct, surrounded by the brightest minds and the best technology. And I'm really excited about what the future holds. And most importantly, I'm really excited and proud of the impact Moderna will have on the lives of many Australians for many years to come.
Oh, well, thank you. And look, today is just such a proud day for Victoria, for Australia, and for the millions of lives, particularly the hundreds of millions of lives who will be impacted by the medicines that are produced by this facility. As the Premier said, this is the first of its kind in the Southern Hemisphere, and these things don't happen just by mistake. And if you indulge me briefly, 25 years ago, Melbourne wasn't on the map when it came to biotechnology. It wasn't on the map. It was John Brumby and Steve Brax who started that initial step about making sure the Parkville precinct could become that anchor tenant, as it were, for the biotech industry. He'll go to the conferences year in, year out. And you then see the benefit of governments, overwhelmingly, Labor governments investing in this sort of technology, and now we've got the clustering benefits. And you think that a facility like this has got the capacity to produce 100 million doses per annum. Like, that is going to be an absolute game changer. And you think about the way in which we can use a facility like this to protect ourselves, to protect fellow Australians, and potentially protect others in the region as well. This is a significant day in the history of this state. We are so fortunate that it's co-located here at Monash University, Australia's largest university, and we've seen the benefit of making sure that we've got significant investments here and that broader clustering effect. The fact that the Monash is home to the CSIRO, the fact we've got the Australian synchrotron literally up the road, we've got the Victorian Heart Hospital, which was started by this government, the fact that we are so close to the Melbourne Centre for Nanofabrication, and the linkages we'll have with BioNTech up at La Trobe. This is all the benefit of having a really thoughtful, considered approach towards
Now, whenever I hear CSIRO, this is always the first thing that comes to mind for me. I feel like the CSIRO used to be like this cool place that you'd go to for a school excursion or something. Yeah, they had education programs, like what, when I was in high school, maybe? Or am I just completely making that up in my head? Because we used to go to all these different places, like, what was the other one? It was like a Science Works. Yeah, Science Works Museum, yeah. There's a whole bunch of these different places that we used to go to for school excursions. And then all of a sudden they've turned into these evil factories. But yeah, whenever I hear CSIRO, especially in this context, it's interesting to see that Brett Sutton, the Chief Health Officer for Victoria during COVID, is now the lead health and biosecurity research director of health and biosecurity. So he has definitely got his hands all over this Moderna factory.
industry policy and the investments we're making to really support biotechnology here in Victoria. We are seeing the benefits, and future generations of Victorians will reap the benefits for the leadership shown by this government. So the reality is that if you're a business, if you're a researcher, if you're a worker, Victoria is the only gaming town when it comes to medtech. We are it, and this investment today demonstrates just that. So the reality is that this project makes us a global leader when it comes to biotechnology and medical technology more broadly. So again, I want to thank the involvement by the Commonwealth Government. It's great to have a Commonwealth Government in Canberra that is investing here in Victoria. I want to thank Moderna for their investment as well. This is a huge day for Victoria, and I think Victorians in years to come will be so grateful and thankful that they've had a government that's putting people first, that they've got partners with really strong established research institutions like Monash University, and great partnerships with fantastic companies like Moderna. I'll throw it to you, Premier.
Thank you. Go to questions on Moderna first, and then anything else?
Premier, when this is fully operational, in the event that there is another pandemic, how important is it, considering Australia was very caught off guard last time?
Well, we have very recent lived experience, really difficult lived experience of what it meant to not have the domestic sovereign manufacturing capability. And this is why having this Moderna facility turned around, can I say, so very quickly by the teams who have worked on this, to be able to go at full scale the production of 100 million vaccines a year. It does mean that there is that opportunity for our communities to be better protected going forward into the future. But it also means not just responding to those known viruses that circulate in our community, it also means because of the cutting edge research and development that's undertaken here by some of the world's most skilled people working from this building, they're looking at what might come next, what might be the next virus that could be deadly and dangerous for our community, and also anticipate the needs of the community into the future. That's what makes this facility so important. It gives us that domestic manufacturing capability right now. It also looks at what might be down the road. We don't want another pandemic. We most certainly don't want another pandemic, but we've learned that we have to have more of this capability located here. And Melbourne will be the only place in the world, where with Moderna and BioNTech, we will have those.
She says that she doesn't want another pandemic. I'm telling you, all of these psychos want one. Listen to the language that Mark Butler was using earlier. They all want one. I promise you. They are on the phone right now talking to Brett Sutton. Come on, mate. Whip something up. Brett Sutton is like I don't know, he's like our Fauci in some respects these days, working for being the director of health and biosecurity at CSIRO. These psychos definitely want one. Like, look at this guy just bobbing his head, just sitting there. Yeah, I'm on camera. Just keep bopping your head. Keep bopping your head. She won't sack you. Just agree with everything and she won't sack you.
Global leaders in mRNA technology and manufacturing capability. Only place in the world that has that. Now, here today, we're here to celebrate Moderna. So let's keep the focus on Moderna, which means that we are opening the Southern Hemisphere's only R&D and manufacturing facility all under one roof. This is a really powerful outcome for our community because ultimately it's a facility that's going to save lives. Did you want to go to some of that, Michael? Thank you.
Yeah, so facility is completely operational right now. We're running through our production validation batches, and our goal is to be providing vaccines for the upcoming winter season.
And Michael, just checking, is that COVID, flu and RSV that's being worked? What's being physically worked on at the moment? The
first vaccine that we're coming off the lines will be COVID for the upcoming winter season, and then we're very hopeful of having our RSV for older adults available in the second half of 2025.
And are those vaccines that are currently being worked on both or either, are they already approved or are they both still waiting for regulatory approval?
Our COVID-19 vaccine has been approved. Our JN1 strain update was just recently approved, and our RSV vaccine is currently under evaluation by the TGA, and we're expecting an outcome very, very shortly.
How long is the facility locked in for at this stage?
Our agreement is a 10-year agreement, so we'll run right through until 2032. But I'm very hopeful that this is going to be a strategic health asset for Australia for many years to come.
What is the funding that we've been providing?
Do you want me to see if there's any more questions for Michael?
Yeah, no.
All right. Michael, with where we go from here with the vaccines beyond those respiratory illnesses, what is the next, cancer and things have been mentioned, what is the next one you're looking at?
So I'm really hopeful that we will have a combination influenza and COVID single shot coming out of this facility within the next 2 years. And certainly, as I said earlier, the technology is moving so quickly in other areas, not just cancer, but also latent viruses like cytomegalovirus, deleting infectious cause of birth defects, norovirus, if you've ever been on a cruise ship or had little kids and had that awful gastro. These are all vaccines that we're working on and could be coming out of this facility over the next 5 years.
The Premier mentioned earlier Australia being prepared for the next pandemic, whatever that may be, if it does come to pass. Can you tell us a little bit about what your researchers are looking at there, if there is any particular directions they're looking at could be a concern in the future that they need to tackle?
Yeah, we have a very sophisticated team running surveillance all the time. At the moment, we've obviously been focusing very, very closely on COVID-19, but we also track a range of other pathogens. And I think the really exciting thing about this facility being located here is we will surveil and focus on pathogens and threats that are really prevalent for us here in Australia and the Southern Hemisphere and Southeast Asia, which may not be areas of disease that are being surveilled by others. We'll certainly be doing that here in Australia.
On that, I understand that obviously we'll have the capacity to start to assist the global supply chain. Is there a commitment?
I just can't help but notice that he's got a little bit of sweat, a little bit of perspiration on his cheeks. He's swallowing a lot and he's bopping up and down, almost like on his toes. Just pay attention to that. So I'm pretty sure he's like a rep, like an Australian rep for Moderna. Let me see if I can find his name quickly. So here is a photo from the press conference as things were rolling out in 2022. And this is when Scott Morrison was still in power and they were penning the deal originally. Let me see if I can find his name, or at least his role here. Michael Azrak. Okay, so Michael Azrak. His location is Sydney. Yeah, I'll share this. So this is Michael Azrak. He joined Moderna with a clear mission to help shape the future of healthcare. He's the general manager of Moderna in Australia. He has embraced the opportunity to lead a dynamic team, driving the company's vision forward while ensuring a meaningful impact on the local community. And he's based out of Sydney. So this psychopath lives here. But yeah, just look at his mannerisms. He's got a little bit of perspiration on his cheeks. He's swallowing a lot. Your browser has lost connection to your share screen. Share screen audio. Hopefully share screen audio is still working. I'm gonna refresh this actually, just to make sure. It's gonna close for a second. Just bring that back up and just have a look at his mannerisms. And yeah, this is when he was penning the deal with Scott Morrison. I'd like to know if Scott Morrison invested as well. Okay, let's go back to Michael. Here we are.
Sophisticated team running surveillance all the time. At the moment, we've obviously been focusing very, very closely on COVID-19, but we also track a range of other pathogens. And I think the really exciting thing about this facility being located here is we will surveil and focus on pathogens and threats that are really prevalent for us here in Australia and the Southern Hemisphere and Southeast Asia, which may not be areas of disease that are being surveilled by others. We'll certainly be doing that here in Australia.
On that, I understand that obviously we'll have the capacity to start to assist the global supply chain. Is there a commitment with an end date on it or not that Australians will always be prioritised with these locally made vaccines?
Facilities coming out of this facility are prioritised for Australia. Australia is first in the queue at all times.
Where else will the vaccine doses made here go?
So that's a great question. Once we're operational, the next step is for us to have a look and see how will we potentially fit within our global manufacturing network. But this is the only end-to-end mRNA commercial scale facility within the Moderna network at the moment.
When you said operational, so I understand it's operating at the moment. Do you mean operational to full capacity? And is that next year, or can you explain that timeline?
Yeah, sorry, I misspoke because we are operational. I said once we've started to supply Australia, so Australia is our priority. First and foremost, in country, for country. We'll then look at how can we potentially plug into the global manufacturing network.
And if there was, say, a pandemic, you would then go back and reassess the needs of Australia before going into the supply
Australia
chain.
always comes first.
And just in terms of the number of people working here, I think the Premier said it could be up to 500. Is that correct? And how many people are working here currently?
Great. No, we had up to 500 workers at the peak of construction. We have 100 highly skilled workers here right now. In the event of a pandemic, we would probably scale up to over 200, but at any one time, we'll have around 100 highly skilled biotech workers right here in Melbourne.
And is it staff enough to meet that global operation expectation, or do you need to bolster staff to get to that point?
Right now, we believe that staff is adequate, just given the technology that we have here. It's state-of-the-art technology that really enables us to scale up very rapidly with the workforce we currently have on hand.
It's the only facility like this for Moderna in the Southern Hemisphere, but what other cities in the world have got these end-to-end facilities for mRNA?
Yeah, it's actually the only facility for Moderna in the world that has end-to-end in the one building. So this is a unique building, and it's no accident we chose Melbourne and the Monash precinct to build ourselves and to site ourselves. Outside of Australia, in Canada and the United Kingdom, we have drug substance factories under construction to effectively make the mRNA, make the liquid, but they don't have that drug product, the fill finish capabilities, which we have right here in Melbourne at this facility.
And where are you looking at next? I'm assuming you will want to expand it. Will you look at, is there other places?
Melbourne, anyone from Victoria watching? You guys excited? You guys excited? You are blessed with the only factory in the world where you have full end-to-end capabilities. So it is literally the testing ground. I mean, after today, like it's for me at least personally, incrementally, Australia becoming known as the testing ground for all of this has just become more and more reinforced in my mind. And after this press conference and watching this with you guys tonight, because I only watched like 10 minutes of the first one and I was like, nah, I gotta talk about it later. I've come to the absolute definitive conclusion, and I know you guys are going to be like, you should have known this months ago, years ago. But I have no doubt in my mind, just with the timeline side of things, that Australia is by far the 100% testing ground for all of this. Because there was what is it, like a report, a COVID report from the USA that just got released this morning, I think, in the middle of, was it this morning or last night? Yeah, the House COVID-19. Let me share this screen. So not only did Australia have a COVID report, you've got the US moving on. And this is what baffles me. America is doing all these House Select Committee reports and actually having a new leader, hopefully put people in their place and be held accountable. Meanwhile, Australia's just like, nah, we're going to build a factory to pump out 100 million vaccines. We're going to get the dialogue ready to go, saying that we are going to prepare for the next vaccine. We are building a center for disease control in the middle of Canberra. It's going to be the main point of information and communication to the nation with regards to updates on what's happening if a pandemic response is required. What the hell is wrong with this country? I swear, every day that goes by, like it's been a week. It'll be a week tomorrow I don't know. Some of you guys probably can't even believe it. I woke up this morning, I couldn't believe it, just looking at the day today, that it's been a week since that bill got passed. And I spent the last few days recovering and getting myself physically and mentally back locked in so I can continue to do this, because I don't want to take a break, like a big break during during the holiday period, because you need people to be at least keeping these people accountable with regards to distributing information. But I'm stunned to see that Australia is just seemingly never going to move on from these last few years. I really hope that, RFK Jr., Trump, someone from America can at least say something, do something. And I know there's a whole bunch of comments from some people that were talking about a inquiry that Malcolm Roberts held this morning. I have it in my watch list, but it did go for a long time. I think it was like 7 hours or something. COVID under trial, 7 hours and 21 minutes. So I don't know if there's any highlights from people that they may have shared from it, that may have watched it, but I'll check this out a bit later. I'm not going to watch it tonight. But it looks like Alex Antic, Malcolm Roberts, and Pauline Hanson were there. Bloody hope that someone can help us, because we seem to be just falling so far down this abyss with no end in sight. All right, let's go back to the presser and just watch the rest of what they have to say with regards to the Moderna factory. And then I'll quickly go through some other comments and then call it there. And then we'll see what wacky stuff they come out with tomorrow. Here we go. Okay, back to Michael.
That are next on the list?
I know that's a really question for our global colleagues, but I do know there are other jurisdictions who are very interested in partnering with Moderna.
And just finally, it's a bit basic, but can you just give us a quick rundown of how mRNA works as a vaccine?
I think mRNA is a marvelous technology. We effectively get the recipe or the instructions that cells need to make proteins, and then our body's own cells become those vaccine factories. They produce the antibodies our bodies need to fend off disease and viruses.
Where do you think the next pandemic could be?
How long's a piece of string? Look, I think there's various academic institutions. I'm hoping never. That's a great answer. But unfortunately, the statistics and the researchers who do specialise in the field say we could have another pandemic in the next 30 years in 20 to 40% probability, but hopefully never. But I do know one thing is when the next pandemic strikes, Moderna in Melbourne's going to be ready.
Anything else on Moderna? Yeah, so the arrangements between the Victorian government, the Commonwealth government and Moderna are commercial in confidence, and that
Did he say that there's a 40% chance that there's going to be another pandemic in the next 30 years? What is it now, 2024? 54. Man, I don't want to live through 2 big pandemics in my lifetime. Don't be saying this shit. Let's go back to see what he said.
When the next pandemic strikes, Moderna in Melbourne's going to be ready.
anything else on Moderna? Yeah, so the arrangements between the Victorian government, the Commonwealth government and Moderna are
academic institutions. I'm hoping never. That's a great answer. But unfortunately, the statistics and the researchers who do specialise in the field say we could have another pandemic in the next 30 years in 20 to 40% probability, but hopefully never. But I do know one thing is when the next pandemic strikes, Moderna and Melbourne's going to be ready.
Anything else on Moderna? Yeah, so the arrangements between the Victorian government, the Commonwealth government and Moderna are commercial in confidence. And that's when you consider, if I can just underscore what Michael just referred to, Moderna is a global behemoth in terms of not only mRNA technology, but in terms of the production and manufacturing of vaccines. To have Moderna choose Melbourne to bring together globally its only place where it can do the research and development and the manufacturing production under one roof underscores just how important this partnership it is when you think the practical outcome could be in a couple of years. We're going into the winter season and we'll be going and getting that joint, what did you say, the joint flu and COVID shot that could be produced right here. This is a significant outcome for the Victorian community, for the Victorian economy as a result of this investment, as a result of the jobs. Significant outcome for.
Hands up if you are going to get a double dose of what is it? mRNA COVID flu vaccine in the next next winter period. Zoom into her neck. Her neck is actually not as crazy as, say, a Nancy Pelosi. But yeah, anyone in Victoria gonna grab a 2-in-1, maybe 3-in-1? They're gonna pump in some. I don't know what it is. I need to get Malcolm Roberts to talk about this, or what's his name? Rennick and Roberts. They seem to be the two highly educated people on this subject. I just sort of dissect the dumb shit that they say. That's my skill set. But anyone in Victoria, you're gonna grab a double or triple dose? Is it free? Oh, it's free. It is free. They are banking on it. We've got 10 more minutes to go. Let's see what other dumb shit she says.
That are supported here, but significant outcome in terms of the health and well-being and protecting our community into the future. That's correct. There is a, well, as we've outlined already, this is part of a 10-year agreement that has been struck between the Victorian government, the federal government, and I would also acknowledge, as Health Minister Mark Butler has just done in the speeches, acknowledge that this was a partnership that commenced under the former Liberal government, and we are working with the current Labor government on the delivery of this 10-year agreement. This is just so vitally important when we think about having this sovereign capability, this domestic manufacturing capability, and what sits behind it is the best and brightest and smartest researchers and developers and scientists in the world who are all choosing Melbourne as the place to both research, develop and produce and manufacture vaccines. Well, it's a 10-year, yes. Well, we are at the start of a 10-year agreement, and this is a beautiful partnership. It really is a beautiful partnership when you think about what we are leveraging off here is the strength of the partnership with the Victorian and federal governments, the partnership with Moderna, but also this precinct. We would not be here today without the development of this technology precinct over the past 25 years. When John Brumby, who worked so hard to bring the synchrotron here to this site, to this precinct, that partnered with Monash University, that has then spurred the development of so much more activity around here that we now have a global precinct. It's recognised internationally. There's a reason why Moderna are here. There's a reason why Moderna are here. It's because of that hard work that has gone in to bringing together those key institutions. And so this is an investment in bricks and mortar that will stand the test of time. We're at the very beginning of an exciting 10-year partnership, that's protecting the health and well-being of our community. Well, Nicole, we're at the start of a 10-year agreement. And when you make an investment like this, when federal and state governments make an investment like this, when Moderna have made an investment like this, I think it speaks to the fact that we all know we're here for the long haul. We're here for the long haul. Just as Monash University's been here for a really long time, the synchrotron's been here for 2 decades. The Heart Hospital opened recently. That'll serve the community for decades to come. And next decade, all of this will be connected by the suburban rail loop. The suburban rail loop will see whether you could be a worker here at Moderna, patient at the Heart Hospital, or a young person chasing your career and dream aspiration to perhaps come and work here in the future. All of this will be made possible by being able to be connected into the suburban rail loop, which means that no one will be closed off from an opportunity simply because they can't get there by public transport. Other questions? Yeah, we'll let Michael discuss. You can. Thank you. Thank you.
On the rail shutdowns, it's been reported that
I just love how she talks about the the ease of commuting to the Moderna factory. Does it have a does it have an official address like listed online now? Because it's at the, what is it? Monash Uni Moderna. It's probably just at the same area here, Collins Street. Oh no, it's Monash University, Clayton. Okay, yeah, Clayton's yeah. I remember I've only been to Clayton a couple of times. I remember Clayton's like a little bit further out because I used to live in the northern suburbs in Coburg, so it's in the Clayton campus. It's a bit further out. But they don't have an official sort of like geo mapping address. Interesting. So anyone that lives in yeah, it's an industrial area. Anyone lives near Clayton, go check it out. Let me know what it's like, what the vibe is like.
The Minister for Transport Infrastructure has been well briefed, and we're delighted to take you through it.
Yeah. So, look, I've been advised that vandals, looks like that there was an incident occurred late yesterday afternoon, and those matters have now been referred on to Victoria Police for investigation.
Do we need more security safeguards in place to stop this from happening? Is that something you would support?
Oh, look, I think this talks more about the importance for investing in our transport infrastructure, so we're not captive and dependent upon Flinders Street Station or the loop the way we have been in the past. The reality is that when we build the Metro Tunnel, when we commission the Metro Tunnel, we're going to be able to take out the Cranbourne-Pakenham as well as the Sunbury lines from the loop, and we're going to be able to provide more of those services, and it really creates that resilience and that redundancy as well as the Sunbury lines from...
Okay, I think this guy's just going to be yapping on about random shit. Let me just quickly skip over back to Jacinta Allen. We don't care about what he has to say.
Quickly, yep. Are you talking? There's yeah, but not gender. Like just yes. Well, look, our thoughts and sympathies are with the families and loved ones of people who've lost people they love in such tragic and awful circumstances. And Victoria Police are undertaking their investigations as is appropriate. This sort of violence will be thoroughly investigated by Victoria Police, and we should keep our thoughts with the people who've been really, they're the victims of crime as well here, and they've lost loved ones in such horrific circumstances.
Just quickly on that plan, there were a large percentage of those government's top 100 performance scores were state government scores. What does that say about education here? And do you stand by NAPLAN as a testing?
Well, we've invested heavily in our great government schools because they're great places that every young person, regardless of their background, regardless of their family income, can go and get a great, good quality education.
Okay, I think she's just going to be talking about other random things now. I'm not going to be overly too concerned about it. Let's quickly skim over it and see what she says.
A resolution to this matter, but we also need to remember that there are workers here who are concerned about their future, and they also need to be held in the frame because workers are doing it tough at the moment. Successive interest rate rises is hurting workers everywhere. It's hurting workers everywhere, and we should also remember that they're going through a tough time as well.
And just quickly on CFA, Premier,
as we head into another summer fire season, a fire season that is again predicted to be dangerous and difficult, like just about every fire season is here in Victoria, we are amongst the most bushfire-prone regions in the world. What all of us should be doing is focus on supporting our fire services, supporting the workers and the volunteers who go out and protect volunteers. And we'll continue to do that. And I want to also use this as an opportunity to say that we also all have a role to play as we come into another difficult and dangerous fire season. We've all got our own role to play in making sure that if some might, and those matters, yeah, that's what you've just answered my question.
Yeah, but would you like to see that?
So, Alex, you've just answered the question for me. I was going to make reference to the fact that this is a matter that's before Fair Work. We need to let that process run its course. What I'm focused on as we head into another difficult and dangerous fire season is backing our volunteers, backing our emergency services workers, because they back our community and they need and deserve us. And that is why I am focused on supporting them. They protect me and my family in the community I live. They protect Victorian families right across the state. And I'm focused on supporting them. As well, we'll support them with resources and we'll back them as we go into another difficult and dangerous.
Okay, so I think it's just a whole bunch of questions with regards to, sounds like it was like the Woolies strike, something to do with that, I think. And then also about bushfires. So yeah, I might stay on for another half hour because I just wanted to mainly go through that with you guys because I hadn't watched all of the presses at all today. I saw that they were there, but I thought it's been a week since I did a live stream. I've had enough time now to sort of get myself back to being locked in again. And I wanted to talk about it because that was probably one of the bigger news stories of today. So Moderna has officially opened up their factory in Melbourne, in Clayton. It is estimated to pump out up to 100 million vaccines per year. And at full capacity, that's 100 million. It's probably going to be less than that for, say, year on year. They are saying that they're going to pump out vaccines to be ready by the next winter. So you've got what, December, January, February, March, May, June, July, August next year. And yeah, so between June, July, August, get ready to see Jacinta Allen, Moderna ramping up sentiment about vaccines. And you'll know that it's going to come from this factory. You heard it here, probably not first, but you've heard it now. What else has been going on? I have those messages from the link that I put in my bio, and I want to run through those. And I'll quickly go through something that came up on my way home with regards to Chris Minns. Apparently, he's being referred to ICAC and it's bloody hilarious because when I saw this story earlier, it made me think this guy did not. You had it easy seeing what happened to Gladys Berejiklian, and you couldn't even learn your lesson from that. But yeah, I'm just gonna drop the link in the comments, and then we'll go through what happened with Chris Minns, and then I'll call it there. So I saw I got a super chat. Let me just pull this up. The Devastator, $50. Thank you so much, Devastator. Again, you're back again. We deserve to be reimbursed for all the time we lost during the lockdowns. Don't even get me started on being reimbursed. We don't want a vax. We don't want a digital ID. We don't want, was it anarcho tyranny? Simple as that. I actually have I've never heard of that term. Anarcho tyranny. Francis's term anarcho tyranny refers to an armed dictatorship without rule of law. Interesting. You learn something new every day. Thank you so much, Devastator. Not only for the super chat, but also now I'm gonna read on this term. Sam Francis, writer, April 29, 1947 to 2005, was an American white supremacist writer. I got sucked into that. That's hilarious. An American white supremacist writer who was a columnist and editor for the conservative Washington Times until he was dismissed after making racist remarks at the 1995 American Renaissance Conference. Fuck, that's funny. Thanks for that, man. That's hilarious. But yeah, if you guys want to drop us a coffee or a message, I just put the link in the chat, and it's also in my bio on Twitter. So I'm pretty sure there might be some new ones since last week. So I'll go through those quickly as well. Kana, much respect and thanks for all your work. Girl in the skirt. What a username. A big bravo, guys. Keep the prayers going. Someone, thank you for those 5. Paul, love your work and hope you build a real movement. I mean, the movement is built. I think it's more so just doing what we're doing now, just keeping the momentum behind, informing people as much as possible, especially through this down period, because this is where the silly shit that they do tends to sneak past everyone. But yeah, thank you so much for that, Paul. Amber Luna, awesome work. Thank you. G, good call, bro. We see your passion. We never give up the fight. Winning, but get ready for them to come for you guys. Don't worry, I'm ready for them to come for me. I actually think that I've been blackballed by my local police station. I reported an incident last week, and I called the actual police station. I said, "Hey, something's going on. Can you guys check it out?" They're like, "We'll see if we can dispatch someone." And then it just got even worse and worse and worse. So I actually called 000, reported it, told them the area. No response. So I think I've been blackballed by them. But yeah, if I got caught up in some other incitement charge or something, they'll be here straight away. But if I need the help, nah, I've been blacklisted, unfortunately. I know what it feels like when they come for you. Someone, I just want to say thank you for everything that you're doing. Keep up the good work. We need more people like you. What I like about what I've been doing over the last couple of weeks is that all of a sudden, a lot of the people in the community, a lot of the people that you guys follow, no doubt, have all of a sudden woken up from their slumber and have realized, oh shit, we got to start pumping out content again. So I think that was probably my favorite takeaway from the last couple of weeks, is that they've started to get momentum back behind their commentary, their content, because Australia is really lacking with political commentary and people that are proud to put their face on camera and talk about these things. America has such a huge pool of people compared to us. So it was interesting to see people finally wake up from their slumber. Ernest Macro, great job. You are the media. And thanks to everyone that left comments with regards to my Sky News appearance. Didn't read all of them because I spent a lot of time sleeping. After I think I did like 70 hours of streaming that week and a bit. Probably I think it was like a 10-day period. It was about 70 hours. But yeah, thank you so much for people that left comments. It was a cool experience. I wasn't disappointed. But I'm really happy with how I responded to those 2 questions that I was given. And a lot of people were also like, "Damn, it sucks. You only got to say 2 things," and then they kept it with Matt Canavan. But Rowan Dean reached out and he was like, "I'll reach out and we'll have you back on if something else comes up in the new year." So yeah, but yeah, thank you so much to everyone with regards to the comments. This is it was a fun experience. I got there at Macquarie Park pretty early. I just wanted to make sure that I was ready to go. I didn't really rehearse anything, but I just sort of had ideas of what to respond with if certain questions were brought up. And yeah, it was really cool. Rowan was really nice. Rita was really nice, and same with James Morrow. It was a fun little experience. And to those that sort of in the understanding of the media landscape with Sky and Murdoch, I actually have no idea about these personalities, these owners, these moguls. I don't know anything about them. I'm not really educated with regards to these things, but I saw a few comments from people saying, "Why are you on Sky?" Mate, the comment that I left on Twitter, I think it was, is my response to that. I rob from the rich and I give to the needy. It's one of my favorite lines from the movie Gone in 60 Seconds. And the reason why I love that line is because that's what I was doing going to Sky News. I take the publicity that I can get and the exposure that I can get from them. I take up the opportunity and then I use it to amplify my message. I couldn't care less about the people pulling the strings in the background of the media moguls. For me, it's just all about taking from them what I can get out of the opportunity and then using it to amplify my ability to get the message out there to more people. But I'm going to be as selective as possible because I don't want to sort of run myself too thin. I think that was it with regards to those responses on the coffee page. Quickly read this story because it was breaking news from a couple of hours ago, and then I think I'll call it there after that. Jab and back. Thank you for bringing this bill to the public's attention in a way that is easy to understand. This dictatorship that hides behind the illusion of democracy needs exposure. Thanks to you, Australians are now far more aware of the complete disdain that this uniparty has for Australian citizens. Many more Australians can now see for themselves the obvious disregard. That's the part that pisses me off. It's so obvious that they don't even care about Australian people. That this globalist-owned duopoly has for Australian voices, experts, national and international human and children's rights. Australians can now see how this captured government can intentionally subvert the democratic process right under our noses at 11 p.m. on a Thursday night, no less, while pretending to care about the well-being of our children. It's all lies. Again, thank you and keep up the good work. Vermin thrive in the dark, and these vile creatures need a big spotlight. That's awesome. Thanks for that. Jab 'em up, jab 'em back. What a username. I think that may have been it. Thank you for your efforts over the past month. Looking forward to supporting you in the future. Thank you, Grapevines. Christy, well done for your efforts. Keeping everyone informed on the Union Party. Sad to see the result tonight. Let's kick butt at the election. Yeah, I'll actually pull it up. I'll pull up the interview, because my responses, I think, were on point with regards to saying what I wanted to say at the political parties without being too overly explicit. Let me just skip to Rowan Dean's intro. Was actually great, I must say. The intro was on the teleprompter, and as he was reading it, I was reading it, and I was like, these guys actually prepared really well. I was really thankful for that. Let me get that comment out of the way. Okay. No. I just noticed there's no sound. Give me 1 sec. I'll quickly refresh that again. I actually closed a lot of tabs before I went live, so I don't know why things have been lagging again. We did 15 hours last week, and the interruptions weren't bad as they are right now. Okay. I'll skip to the intro straight away.
Morning, and yet again, Rita James, yet again, making us the #1 show on all of Sky News Australia. I don't know how you do it. You're the audience. I know, I know. Thank you so much. We certainly do appreciate your loyalty very, very much. Now, what a week. We've talked before about what happened in Parliament with the under-16 social media ban. Well, if you were watching, you were probably watching it streaming on social media. And that was the great irony, an irony that was picked up by Matt Canavan, Senator Matt Canavan, who made one of the great political speeches, I thought, of his career. As I said, on social media, prime ministerial material, and I was not the only person to say that. But what Matt specifically noticed was that longtime political activist Anthony Kalouf, who's known for his organising of anti-lockdown protests, he actually went to jail during the pandemic for organising anti-lockdown protests. He was live streaming. He's got Australians versus the Agenda is his Twitter handle there, and he was highlighting the importance of freedom of online media platforms. Well, Matt Canavan noticed this, referred to the fact that here we were debating social media, banning social media, when social media was live streaming far more people than ever normally watch Parliament. Have a listen to this.
Why is it that we've got this bill that seeks to, we say, the minister says, to help parents, and the word parent is not mentioned at all in the bill? There's not a single mention of the word parent in this bill. Why? There is a silver lining here, perhaps. Right now, a guy called Mr. Anthony Kalouf is running a live stream of our broadcast here. He has 38,000 people watching. The official YouTube channel of Parliament has 800. He's got 38,000 young people absolutely pissed off with this Parliament right now watching.
So here's a special treat for you. We've got both Matt Canavan and Anthony Kalouf together here. There's Matt up on the wall. Matt, we've got Anthony in the studio. We'll cut to him in a second. There he is, Anthony. So, Matt, let's go to you first. Wearing your normally understated Sunday morning attire. I'm glad to see, just in case there's any doubt as to who we're talking to. Matt, you must be up in Queensland somewhere. It looks beautiful, as it always does. Now, tell us, you spotted the amazing irony that here was more people watching Parliament banning social media thanks to social media.
That comment here, I love how he said pissed off. So, of course, I had to do it. Just get that in the frame. I printed it out and I framed it. I'm now in the Hansard. I just wanted to share that. I couldn't help it. I couldn't help it. Right now, a guy called Mr. Anthony Kaloof is running a live stream of our broadcast here. He has 38,000 people watching. The official YouTube channel of Parliament has 800. He's got 38,000 young people, a lot of middle-aged people. My demographic is actually quite middle-aged and a bit older, actually. I'm absolutely pissed off. And my favorite part is that it actually says absolutely pissed off. I highlighted the part, but yeah, Hansard, they didn't bleep it out. They didn't do anything that I thought that they may have done. They actually wrote the words absolutely pissed off. But I had to do it. I had to print it out. Maybe I could turn this into like merchandise. Or print it out. I can make like 100 copies of this and I'll sign it for you guys. But yeah, I was very proud of that. If I don't accomplish anything else in my lifetime, I can die knowing that I gave it a red hot crack and I made it into Hansard. But yeah, I'll go to the part where I respond to a couple of questions. I was actually pretty happy with how I responded, all things considered, and then we'll close there. It's almost 2 hours.
Matt.
Well, look, I think what's happened this week has activated a whole generation of Australians. And as I noted, that's perhaps a silver lining from what was a bittersweet last week of Parliament. I don't think we should forget that the week started with a smashing victory on misinformation, such a comprehensive defeat for that terrible anti-democratic law that even the Labor senators on Monday voted against their own law. They voted to just discharge the misinformation law because of all the great work of yourselves here on Outsiders, all of your viewers, people like Anthony on social media, all made that difference. Now, the end of the week wasn't so joyful, of course, with the passing of this draconian ban, this blanket ban. It was done within the cloak of darkness late on a Thursday night. We did get some amendments to rule out the compulsory use of digital ID. So that was one win, thanks to the posse. They're all fighting against that. But still, look, it wasn't the way to make laws in our parliament. And as I say now, I think a whole lot of people have woken up. I've come home to my 5 kids, never before more engaged in politics.
Well, let's go to Anthony Kaloof.
About what's happened.
Anthony, that was largely your doing. You've been very hot on this issue on social media.
Yep.
You've run a social media campaign, Australians versus the Agenda. I certainly follow it. I urge outsiders to follow you on X. What was it like that moment, Matt Canavan? Suddenly there you are, he's talking about you.
Yeah, well, we were streaming for up to 15 hours that night, and it got to a really climactic moment where once I heard my name shouted out, I was in absolute disbelief, as you can see there. And the biggest takeaway from it, outside of the fact that that was actually named and called out in the Senate chamber, I
unmuted. One thing that I noticed is that when you're in the studio, there's a 1 minute delay. Most people know this anyway, but yeah, their delay is actually bigger than sports. I'm pretty sure sports, when I'm watching it, like I've only been to like a couple of AFL games in the last 3 years. But the game is usually about 20 to 30 seconds behind for outsiders, and probably most of their broadcasts is about a minute delay. And I was just sitting there, I was just like, fuck, I'm so nervous. Hold it together, hold it together. So next time, hopefully, if I get another chance on any network, whatever opportunities come my way, I'll make a decision. But this will be a bit of a learning curve to calm down.
Really, I feel like the bill itself is an attempt to undermine the digital literacy of people to be able to do what I did on that Thursday evening, which is to cultivate the attention of lawmakers like Matt Canavan. And I want to show people that someone just like me that has a basic understanding of digital literacy is able to accomplish that. But I think that this bill is an attempt to undermine the ability to do that.
Rita.
And we saw in the US election just how powerful those platforms were. People were far more likely to hear a candidate with a podcaster than they were to watch a CNN town halls. This is how people now consume news. This is how people communicate.
Yep.
And to be removing a whole segment of the community from that, what can you see as the impact of that? And do you think kids are going to find their way around it, but older Australians who perhaps aren't as tech savvy are the ones who are going to be impacted?
Well, I think the government has severely underestimated the ability for people like myself and the generation that's now coming through to be able to do such things like cultivating an audience. And I think one thing that I do want to say is that Matt Canavan recognizing what I had done over the week on Thursday is a testament to the difference between politicians that respect and understand this new generation of people that are now being outspoken on social media. And then on the other side, the government currently undermining these people. And that gap between the two is becoming a real big chasm. And I think that we're going to see the results of the election coming up reflect that.
But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy with how I responded. I think I could have calmed down just a little bit. It was like 35 degrees by like 8:30 that morning. So, I mean, I held it together as best as I could. But yeah, it was a great experience. I think I got the message that I wanted out for the time that I was afforded. And yeah, I just want to take advantage of as much opportunity that comes my way to be able to amplify the message in the best possible way to reach as many people as possible, because I don't want the momentum to slow down, and I just want to encourage as many people to just hold the line, because Australia, man, like we started off with this live stream about the vaccine mandates and the 100 million vaccine factory in Victoria opening up today. So yeah, we are the breeding ground. It doesn't look like anyone's going to come to help us, so we've got to hold the line ourselves as best as we can. And I just want to inspire and motivate as many people as possible to do the same thing. Yeah, I think that's probably it. You guys saw this story from a couple of hours ago. Looks like Chris Minns is in a bit of trouble. I don't know what it's about, particularly something to do with like $1 billion deal redevelopment at a race course, but can't wait to see the fallout from this. I bet you he resigns just like Gladys. He's going to have to learn the hard way. It looks like a New South Wales Premier can't make it through a term without being referred to ICAC. But yeah, I think we're going to call it there. It's been 2 hours. I wanted to talk about mainly that that Moderna factory opening up, because I saw that there was a whole bunch of press conferences to go through. I wanted to go through that with you guys. It's been a week already since the social media ban bill has been passed now. It'll be 1 week from tomorrow. And yeah, I mean, just got to keep the momentum going. Thank you everyone for the nice messages. I saw another one from Devastator. It goes into a bit of a starred field here, so I'll never miss it unless there's like an emergency for me to run. Congratulations for appearing on The Outsiders. It's been great to watch your channel grow in such a short amount of time. Thank you so much, Devastator. I was really happy with the shout out that I got from Rowan Dean, because if anything else, I probably gained about, I think maybe 5,000 or 7,000 new followers across the platform. So that's what I want to do. I want to do whatever it takes, barring, you know, selling my soul or compromising my morals, to amplify the message as best as possible. I didn't have a gun to my head when I was there. I just took up the opportunity to be platformed on a bigger stage, and then I'm just gonna run with it. I'm just gonna try to get as many of those runs as possible so I can reach as many people as possible. And I hope it inspires other people to do the same thing. But yeah, thank you so much for that, Devastator. That's awesome. Appreciate that. Anyway, what is it now? 10 p.m. I think it's time to call it a night, everyone. See what wacky things that they come out with tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Thursday. We'll see. We'll probably see and learn more about the fallout with Chris Minns. That'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see if he does a press conference and talks about it. For those people that said you got a new mic, yeah. So I kept my word on the promise. The money came in over the last couple of days, and then I ran straight to a place called Manny's, and I bought the MV7. So this was recommended to me, which is perfect because it's a USB and what's it called? USB and the other output, I forgot. But yeah, USB output's good because it can just go straight into the computer for me. Next thing I want to do is probably just figure out how I can improve this monitoring, because I can't monitor the sound as good as I want to, but I'll get there. But yeah, thank you so much to everyone that supported. Thank you so much to everyone that's tuned in. And yeah, thanks to everyone that dropped us a coffee as well. I really appreciate it. And if anyone wants to drop any throughout the night between now and the next stream, it's a link in my bio on Twitter, and it's a link in the comments of YouTube as well, or in the description of YouTube as well. So that's my promise. Anyone that wants to support, I will go through the messages at the turn of the next live stream. And yeah, thank you so much, everyone. It's been a great week. We're a few weeks from Christmas, but I'm going to be as diligent as possible to keep the momentum up and to keep everyone as informed as possible. I'm going to end it there. Good night, everyone. And yeah, if any wacky things come up, I'll share it. And if it's as newsworthy as something like this, I'll jump on stream as well. But yeah, good night. Thank you so much. Thanks to Devastator for the super chats. Appreciate it. All right, done. Good night. Good night, everyone.